Well, hello there. Welcome back to my little corner of the internet. My name's Beth, and I hope you're doing well today. I've been talking myself out of filming this video, and I don't know why. I am here today to talk about and review One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and I really enjoyed this book a lot. I immediately started the second one, so I'm trying to force myself to record this video today so that my brain doesn't get too muddied up and confused after reading the second one, so I don't do any cross spoilers or anything like that, because that's not what I'm trying to do. But I just can't stop reading, and I'd rather just read than record a video, but I want to record the video, so here we are. I'm already 80 pages into book 2, so let's talk about book 1 so I can go read. The beginning of this, I'm going to do my best to be spoiler free because I, myself, absolutely despise spoilers, and I get it, but I also just want to rant about the book, so I will warn you whenever my spoilers are coming. One Dark Window is a dark gothic fantasy novel that is targeted more towards adults, but I was really questioning it when I was reading it if it was YA, but it's not, I guess. Our main character is Elspeth Spindle, and all of the last names are based after trees, and I've seen reviews of people that they absolutely hated that, and it was one of my favorite things about the book. I thought it was funny, especially Beach. But Elspeth has been living for the past 11 years with a 500-year-old demon in her head that she calls the Nightmare. Sounds great, right? I really loved the world building with this. It was very creepy and dark and mysterious with the mist that would come in, and it gets worse and worse every year. Ah, a boy. I guess my cat's sitting with me for this one. It has a really unique magic system where 500 years ago, the Shepherd King worked together with the Spirit of the Wood to create these Providence cards, which is essentially a deck of tarot cards. There's 12 of them, and from what I gathered, they're set up kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas, where the 12th one, there's 12, and then the 11th has 11, and so on, until you have the first one, the Twin Alders, which is the rarest card of the deck. But the Shepherd King wanted to create these cards so that the people of Blunder could use magic without having to consult with the Spirit of the Wood because they would take stuff from them. All magic comes with a cost. Each card has a pro and con, for example, the Maiden, it makes you beautiful, but it makes you a callous bitch that has no heart. But you're drop dead gorgeous, baby. Every magic has a cost and things have to remain in balance. That's a big part of the book, is things remaining in balance. But since the card's creation, the Shepherd King disappeared. He's outie. He's gone. It's been 500 years. No one's seen the guy since. And the Spirit of the Wood is apparently bitter that no one now needs them and will come to them to get magic. So it has released this mist that just sits over the land. And every year it expands out further and further, claiming more of the towns and villages. And if you're if you find yourself in the mist without a charm, which is a piece of a dead animal or something, Elspeth carries a crow's foot, then the mist will drive you crazy and apparently kill you. I was a little confused on how the infection works in the book, because from what it seemed to me, the mist would just drive you crazy and make you go further into it and didn't necessarily make you infected. But the infection was a big part of the book, where if a child is found to be infected, the king is no, get rid of them, kill them, and anyone that was hiding them, get rid of them too. We don't need them in these pots. But maybe it's just if you're in the mist and you start going a little bit crazy and then you are able to come back, or you're found or something, then you get it. Or do you just get infected living at home? I don't know, because it doesn't really spread from what I've read or remember. If you have read it and you have a different theory or a little bit more clear on that process and everything, please comment and we'll discuss down there, because I really am unsure about how the mist and the infection really work. But if you get infected, your veins turn black and you gain a random magical ability. Elspeth, for example, is able to see the Providence cards. They emit a soft light that only she is able to see. Well, it's actually the demon in her head that's able to see it, but she pretends it's her so that no one knows about the demon in her brain. Which, fair. I don't think I'd be telling people about that either. It is rare that a child grows up with the infection, because there are physicians and destriers that are constantly doing patrols and trying to find people that are hiding infected children and whatnot. And the magic causes a degeneration, which will slowly wear away your body and mind throughout the years if you don't get killed by the king. So Elspeth has been infected for 11 years, living with this demon in her head, and her father sent her away when she was a child to go live with her aunt and uncle. They know that she's infected, but they know nothing about her ability to be able to see the Providence cards. And in the beginning couple chapters, Elspeth is confronted by some highwaymen while she is traveling home from her father's back to her uncle's place. And they're trying to find out if she has cards or learn any information about her uncle or whatever. Because the highwaymen are essentially just bandits that will stop people on the road in the mist and try to steal cards. So then she finds out who those highwaymen are, and she gets roped into committing high treason against the king of the land. Because they just so happen to be the prince and his cousin, so the king's nephew. Literally rereading the back to see if I'm doing spoilers yet or not. So Elspeth must work together with Elm, the king's son, and Raven, the king's nephew, to try and collect the deck of cards so that they can banish the mist and the infection from the land. Now here's where it's going to be getting muddy with spoilers, so I'm going to warn you now. Viewer discretion is advised, but I do recommend reading the book. I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars. And if you decide to read it because of this, please let me know. I'm very curious. And while I really did enjoy the book, and I immediately started reading the second one, there were a few things that kind of irked me, and I would have liked the book better had they been a little bit different, and I would have given this 5 stars if it weren't for these things. The pacing was a little bit questionable for me in the beginning, but it really just was a lot of world building, and it does pick up as you go. There is actually plot, unlike some books we've talked about here. Each card has a different ability that has a pro and con to it, and on page 81 there is a list of what all of the cards are, and I'm just going to go down through those real quick just to give you a little bit more context about everything I'm going to be talking about today. The Black Horse made its beholder a master of combat, the Golden Egg granted great wealth, the Prophet offered glimpses of the future, the White Eagle bestowed courage, the Maiden bequeathed great beauty, the Chalice turned liquid into truth serum, the Well gave sight to recognize one's enemies, the Iron Gate offered blissful serenity, no matter the struggle, the Scythe gave its beholder the power to control others, the Mirror granted invisibility, the Nightmare allowed its user to speak into the minds of others, the Twin Alders had the power to commune with Blunder's ancient entity, the Spirit of the Wood. And the way of using the cards seems a little bit silly to me. You just have to be like, tap, 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 tap the card, and then anybody can wield it. You can wield it towards anybody, and then the way to stop using it is to tap it again 3 times. But if you are using a card and you set it down and it's not on your person and someone else comes up and is like, boop, then the card's not working anymore. It is technically theirs and they can wield it and it's no longer in your possession. Stealing cards is very, very naughty though. You don't steal somebody's cards. I did see one review where they're talking about how they just had essentially to collect Pokemon cards in this book, and I just thought it was really funny. I did think Elspeth was a little bit boring as a character. The main thing about her was that their nightmare is in her head, this 500-year-old being. And I really can't help but wonder who she's gonna be if she ever gets rid of the nightmare. And on that note of her being a little bit boring, there was a romance subplot that wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. I have definitely read worse. The romance never became the main focus of the book, which really did save it for me. I also found it a little difficult to discern a timeline as to when they met and whenever they started doing naughty things. I would have liked it better had they just had a budding romance and only been kissing and never actually went all the way, because it just kind of felt a little forced. And it was a little strange how the monster in her head would just retreat away into the darkness while he's just going down on her. I'm little weird. He's just there listening. Okay. And I will say, Raven asks the Nightmare about that in book 2. And the Nightmare is just I just ignored it. I feel like Rachel is obviously watching reviews and stuff and being like, oh, people think it's a little weird that they did the dirty with the demon in her head, so I will address it. I just thought it was a little funny. It was literally love at first sight for Raven, which is strange because he saw her first as the highwayman when he was masked and stuff, and she bested him. Because the Nightmare can give her superhuman ability powers, kinda, to make her strong and fast and an actual able-bodied fighter. And Elspeth literally took a day to be like, you know what? He's kind of cute. I'm gonna trust this man with 90% of my secrets that I haven't told anybody ever in 11 years. I'm gonna tell you. Okay. I didn't hate the romance, but I didn't love it. if a book is not labeled a romance, I have a hard time believing the romance and feeling that it's natural or anything like that. It always just kind of feels forced to me, but this one wasn't bad. Elspeth took way too long to tell Raven about the nightmare in her head. She told him like everything else and that she could see these Providence cards, but didn't tell him that it was the nightmare seeing these cards. And he didn't find out until like, I don't know, the very end pretty much. And the only reason he found out was because of Hoth, his cousin, the High Prince, the heir to the throne, decided to do some stupid truth serum thing. I know Hoth has been suspicious throughout the entire book because he broke Elspeth's arm in the woods, but she was disguised, so he didn't know it was her, but then he sees that she has a broken wrist, like the next time he sees her, and he's like, But they don't really talk about that any, and then just randomly it's like, we're truth serum them, yeah. You guys are planning treason, and I'm gonna just throw in a truth serum here, and you know what? I'm gonna do it too. What? You're questioning these people, and you're also going to do the truth serum and pretend it was a game. It was weird. And then they asked literally the dumbest fucking questions you could have asked somebody when you're trying to like find out if they're doing high treason. Like, why is Hoth's question to Raven, the head of the Destriers that he wants to overthrow and says he will challenge him, why is his question, do you really care for Elspeth? Who fucking cares? You don't give a shit. You don't care at all, dude. And then he tries to ask another question. He's like, what do you do when you're not with the other Destriers? And you're like, oh, nope, sorry, only one question per time. You didn't ask the right one. I was so anxious when I got to that part in the book when I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna truth serum them. They're gonna learn about them, like trying to get the cards. They're gonna learn all about the high treason. And then literally nothing happened. And I was like, oh, okay, I was anxious for nothing. The only reason for that scene was for Raven to find out that Elspeth had the nightmare in her head because he used the nightmare card on her and was able to go into her mind, and the nightmare was like, get out of here, she doesn't want you in here. And he's like, oh my god, what's in your brain? So, you know, that's the only reason the truth serum thing was there. The questions were just horrible, and it just made everyone seem super suspicious, especially the way they answered them too. And trying to lie, like, I don't know. It was a little silly. I would really like to learn more about the Spirit of the Wood too, and what their deal is. I'm holding out hope that there will be more of an explanation and more about it in book 2. And I will be making a video about Two Twisted Crowns whenever I finish reading it. There is one book that this one reminded me of. Let me grab it. Where you at, bitch? I found her. Lake's Edge. It reminded me of this one by Lyndall Clipstone. Lake's Edge really tried to do that whole dark, gothic, romantasy vibe where the female main character talks to a monster, and it just didn't execute it quite well. I didn't love this book. There is a second one. I have hardly any interest in reading it. This was a book that I read last year for the book club that I'm in, and they have talked about the second book. A few of them have read it, and that's kind of all the more I really need. Maybe if I can find like a matching cover or a matching like addition to this one, I'll pick it up because they changed the covers, and I won't buy the second one if the cover isn't gonna match the first. Ain't doing it. But Lake's Edge came out a year before One Dark Window, so I wondered if Rachel read it. But then I started reading Two Twisted Crowns, and in the very beginning, the praise for One Dark Window, there is a blurb from Lyndall, like the author of Lake's Edge, being like, oh my god, this is so good. I'm like, oh shit, she knows. Does she know this is how her book should have been? No hate, Lake's Edge was okay, but it just wasn't great. One last thing, and one major spoiler, is why the hell did it take so long for Elspeth to figure out that the nightmare in her head is the Shepherd King? He knows the entire Book of Alders. He speaks only in riddles. He's 500 years old. The Shepherd King has been gone for 500 years. She's not the brightest, I suppose. Oh, and I did want to say that I really loved all of the poetry in this book. Every single chapter starts with like a little tarot card thing on it that will explain a bit of like the card and whatever that's essentially in that chapter. Like so. Like this one, the Iron Gate. Be wary the moss, be wary the fence, be wary the gate and the mist dark and dense. It'll stop all your tears, it'll steal all your years. Be wary the gate and the mist dark and dense. A lot of times in books, poetry just does not do it for me. I don't like it. It seems a little bit silly, but I liked all of the poetry in this one. I liked the nightmare talking in riddles and rhymes. It made me enjoy it that much more. So that's essentially all I have to say about One Dark Window. I really enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars. If a few things had been different, I would have given it 5, but I'm a little picky with my 5 stars. Maybe it's a 4.5. I don't know. It's really close. It's really up there. Like I said, I immediately started reading the second one, so I'm gonna go do that now. Maybe I'll edit this video, or I'll just be reading Two Twisted Crowns. We'll see. If you see this video, you know what I ended up doing. I'm gonna try to get a little bit better about recording videos. I will be recording my Battle of the Books for the Munch of March. Oh my god. For the month of March here soon. I didn't read as many books this month as I have previously, but oh well. And I'll be talking about One Dark Window again, but we'll just give it a quick little rundown. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I just love reading, and I like talking about them, and I really need to be better at talking about the books that I read, doing better at reviewing, and be better at disciplining myself to sit down and record a video. Subscribe if you care and you wanna. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Now I'm gonna go read. Bye!